Number 8 here is one where I am kind of inscribing a rectangle inside of the x-axis, the y-axis, and this parabola. That will come with the picture already. You don't have to come up with that picture on your own. So don't worry about drawing those, although at this point you should be able to do that. The first thing I want to do is figure out the area of that rectangle right there. So when I look at it, this is, and we did a whole chart for learning how to do this, and if you're really confused about where do these x's come from, look back at that chart and try to jog your memory. But if this is my x value, then this length right here, the height of that rectangle, notice that's where I hit this thing. So like if x is 1, then the height of the rectangle is going to be, I take this equation right here, do 49 minus 1 squared, which is 48. If x is 2, then I would do 49, my y value, my height of my rectangle would be 49 minus 2 squared, which is 49 minus 4, which is 45, right? So basically the height, this guy, is tied to the width, the x. So that width is always going to, or that height is always going to be 49 minus x squared if I'm actually indeed jamming it underneath this parabola. So part A asks for the area of that rectangle. So area, in terms of x, area is length times width. So the base of that thing is x, and the height is 49 minus x squared. So that's my answer for A, and I'm good to go there. So for B, I want a practical domain. My domain, well, I'm not going to have x be smaller than 0, right? Because then I wouldn't have a height and I wouldn't have a width. So my domain is starting at 0, and I do use a parenthesis here. And then the biggest it's going to be is to go all the way out to this point right here. So the biggest it's going to be is 7, and that's domain on the x, right? So good to go there. My domain goes from 0 to 7. Now, to see the whole function, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my y equals screen. I'm going to clear out whatever's in there. In y1, I'm going to put exactly this right here. One mistake people sometimes do is they type it in without that first x. So make sure you type in x, then you open your parentheses, and then you write 49 minus x squared, and then you close your parenthesis. If you forget to write the first x, then you're not going to get the picture that we're looking for. So, now I go to my table, I delete whatever's in there, and then I type in numbers between 0 and 7. So, when I typed in 4, I got 132. Let's see what I get when I get 3. Oops, I get 120. If I type in 5, I get 120 as well. So far, like 132 seems to be like up there, pretty close to the high point. So, as I got that done, I've now plugged it in, and I'm in my table, and I've used my domain, and I'm trying to figure out what a good window to see this function is. So, I know my x is going to go from 0 to 7. So the 0 is my x min, the 7 is my x max. My y is going to start at 0, so that's my y min. So I'm going to go 0, 7 for x max, y min 0. Now, when I plugged into my table, I plugged in some numbers, and 132-ish was the biggest. So I'm going to round up generously. I'm going to round up to 150. So I'm going to type in 150 for my y max, and maybe we'll count by tens. Now I hit graph, and I should get a good picture of the whole graph kind of fitting in well, and I do. So this is your answer for D, or for C. I'm going to erase it, so make sure you have it. So part D, right here, when I graph it, I get this graph looking thing here down at the bottom in the middle. I want to calculate the maximum, which is this guy right here. So I go second calc, I go fourth option, which is maximum. I start left of it, so I go left bound, so I'll hit enter at left, and then I'll go right of my maximum. I'll go over until I'm clearly right, and I'll hit enter again, and then I'll come in and I'll guess kind of central to the two of them. I get this right here. I get x equal 4.041 and y equal to 132.021. Notice they're only asking for the maximum area of the rectangle, and that the area is my height on this, because that's what I was graphing right here. So I take this number right here, 132.021. That's my answer.